tonight. Experts say Saskatchewan could be in for a rough flu season. Skate Canada halts its Alberta events over the province's new gender law. And Regina's new police chief on how she plans to build trust in the city's police service.
What I really hope is that it opens the door for young women, young girls in our community.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Tuesday, December 16th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. I'm Ethan Williams. Thank you for joining us. Saskatchewan is being hit hard by this year's flu strain, and with only a small portion of people vaccinated against it, experts say we are in for a rough flu season. Katie Swires has our top story.
No more community dinners until the new year, all because of the flu. Chief and Counsel for Beardy's Okamasas Cree Nation says there have been multiple hospitalizations in the community and one flu-related death. Experts say influenza A is surging across the country. In Ontario, 3 children have already died from complications.
Influenza is a virus that can cause death across all age groups, unfortunately.
In Saskatchewan, experts say influenza is circulating across the province, but there are a lot of cases in Saskatoon. Influenza A is showing up the most.
When we're seeing sheets of positive results based on the number of specimens that we're testing, it tells us that we're right in the thick of this right now.
Data from the province at the end of November shows only 20% of people in Saskatchewan have been vaccinated against influenza. Experts say that's especially concerning when influenza A is the dominant strain.
Clinical presentation of infections with this type of influenza leads to a serious complications, especially for children and elderly as well.
Blondeau says there's a side effect of influenza A the public should be aware of.
You could be infected and you could feel better. And then after a few days of feeling better, then you can feel really sick again. And so there is a condition where individuals infected with influenza can get a post-viral secondary bacterial infection, and they can be quite severe as well, and they can be quite lethal.
The Saskatchewan Health Authority says school absenteeism is increasing across all school divisions. It's getting more reports each week.
If you're not immunized, you really should be considering making an appointment and go out and getting your immunization, because we still got a ways to go before we're out of this flu season.
Aside from vaccination, experts recommend you should also stay home when you're sick. Katie Swires, CBC News, Regina.
A large part of our province is in for a significant winter storm, and it could have major impacts for us over the next few days. Weather specialist Mickey Wolf joins us now. Mickey, what can we expect?
Well, Ethan, we are looking at our first potentially orange warning across south and central Saskatchewan for a blizzard. It's not the only warning we're seeing tonight. Let's take a little bit of a closer look at what to expect tomorrow. So as you can see, folks, we've got kind of this belt between Saskatoon and Regina. That's where the blizzard warning is taking place. We're expecting 10 to 20 centimeters of snow tomorrow over the course of the morning hours up until midnight. And we're also seeing winds gusting up to 80 kilometers an hour. So that is going to reduce visibility almost down to zero. We're also seeing a wind warning as well for that southwest corner, up to 110 kilometers an hour gusting potentially. And then tonight in the north, we're also seeing an extreme cold warning. Temperatures will be below -45. So quite the winter season here we're having. And Ethan, I will have more details coming up in the full forecast about what we can expect tomorrow with that blizzard happening in south and central Saskatchewan.
Okay, Mickey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Over 30 people appeared before Regina City Council Tuesday as the municipal budget debate entered day 2. Representatives from business groups, labor unions, and arts organizations had their turn to speak. Many of them are pleading with Council to avoid cuts to city services as Council tries to avoid a historic 15% mill rate increase next year. The city's tough financial situation got plenty of attention, with one Labour leader arguing for an even larger mill rate increase to make up for what he calls years of chronic underfunding.
Do not destroy our city attempting to save it. fund our services, fund our workers who deliver them, choose to compete with other cities, build a Regina we can all be proud of, pass the 18.93% increase, take the medicine now so Regina can be healthy in the future.
City administration says an 18.93% mill rate increase would cost the average Regina homeowner $40 more per month. A vote on the budget and the final mill rate is expected on Friday. Skate Canada says it will no longer host major events in Alberta. It comes after the organization reviewed the province's legislation on the participation of transgender athletes in women's sport. Julia Wong has the latest.
Skate Canada is saying that it will not be holding certain events in this province moving forward. In a statement that was sent to CBC News, the organization says it considers a variety of criteria when selecting host cities. And following a careful assessment of Alberta's Fairness and Safety in Sport Act, Skate Canada has determined that we are unable to host events in the province while maintaining our national standards for safe and inclusive sport. This is a very big development in a story that has very much dominated headlines in Alberta over the last few months. Now, Skate Canada saying this decision only applies, as I mentioned, to certain events, national events and international level events. And the organization is also saying that this doesn't affect Alberta skaters from participating in Skate Canada programming and competitions. But obviously, this will have a big impact and a big ripple effect in the world of sports, particularly in this province. And it's interesting the timing of this announcement. It comes on the heels of an event that Skate Canada held in Calgary very recently. It was the Skate Canada Challenge, and it was held in Calgary at the end of November. So this announcement really coming mere weeks after that event was held. Now, the province has argued that this law is needed to make sports fair in this province, to make it safe in this province, and also to make it accessible. But there has been a lot of backlash, there has been a lot of controversy over the fact that this law and the two others were passed in particular. And there have been legal challenges that have been filed against the province, but more recently, just within the last few weeks, the province actually invoked the notwithstanding clause in relation to that specific sports law and the two other laws that affect transgender youth in this province to protect it from charter challenges moving forward. And I do want to end on this particular note from Skate Canada. It does end their statement by saying that they will monitor legislative developments in this province and it will reassess hosting opportunities as the circumstances evolve.
CBC's Julia Wong. And Alberta Premier Danielle Smith has responded in a statement posted on X. She says, in part, Skate Canada's refusal to hold events in Alberta because we choose to protect women and girls in sport is disgraceful. We expect they will apologize and adjust their policies once they realize they are not only compromising the fairness and safety of their athletes, but are also offside with the international community, including the International Olympic Committee, which is moving in the same direction of Alberta. The world's top curlers are in Saskatoon for the last Grand Slam of curling event of the year. It is a chance to see Canada's Olympic curling teams play before next year's Winter Games. The first round of the 2025 Hearing Life Canadian Open kicked off Tuesday at Merlis Belcher Place. 16 men's and 16 women's teams are competing for a $400,000 purse. And that includes Team Jacobs and Team Homan. Both just won the right to curl for Team Canada at the Winter Olympics in February. Skip Brad Jacobs won gold at the 2014 Sochi Olympics, but is returning with a new team behind him.
Coming through and winning the trials, all of the major things that we wanted to accomplish and the goals that we had set for ourselves, we were able to accomplish, and that's pretty special. That's pretty hard to do. We still don't have a Grand Slam, though, this team. And so we're looking to battle hard for one of those.
The Hearing Life Canadian Open is on all week with the men's and women's championship draws scheduled for Sunday. And meanwhile, a Saskatoon athlete is sliding her way into the Olympics. 14-year-old Ava Darbley has been awarded funding and named a next-generation Olympic athlete. It happened after she wowed scouts at this year's RBC training ground. She was originally there to compete in the sport of biathlon, but Darbley was approached by scouts to take on a sport she'd never heard of before, luge.
It was just so crazy because I didn't expect that to happen. And I had no expectations. This whole journey, I've had no expectations. So it was just really crazy to be named future Olympian.
Darbalay was one of more than 2,000 athletes to participate in RBC Training Ground. Only 35 were chosen as finalists and selected for funding. That means a spot in the National Development Program, mentorship from RBC Olympians, and an accelerated path to the Olympics. Over 20 training ground alumni have competed at the Olympics. 7 of them took part in the Summer Games in Paris last year. We'll maybe call it the not so calm before the storm. The wind was howling in Regina earlier Tuesday, and then the cold weather arrived after our very warm morning. Now the wait is on until the snow starts flying and the wind really picks up again. Weather specialist Mickey Wolf has a breakdown of when the snow is moving in and how much we can expect. That and more after the break. Welcome back. Regina has a new police chief, and with the new role comes big plans for the future, as well as an acknowledgement of issues in the past. Alexander Kwan sat down with Chief Laura Davies for a look back at 2025 and a look ahead.
What I really hope is that it opens the door for young women, young girls in our community.
Laura Davies is a history maker, a trailblazer. She's spent nearly 30 years with the Regina Police Service, and she's now the first woman to become chief of any Saskatchewan police force. Shortly after her appointment, Davies says she was approached by a man in public.
He said, I have a 15-year-old daughter, and when the news broke last week that you were the first female chief, my wife and I sat down and had a conversation with her about what this means for you as a young woman, and I was like, wow, that's impactful.
Davies is thankful for the attention, but remains aware that the Regina Police Service is under constant scrutiny. The trial of former Regina Police Sergeant Robert Semenchuk for inappropriately accessing police data to pursue women. The dismissal of former police chief Farouk Sheikh. They're just a few of the incidents that have hurt the force's reputation this year alone. Davies compares public trust to a piggy bank.
Every little thing that you do, you're putting pennies in there, and it's important. And one interaction might not seem like something that's a big deal, but all of those interactions, fill up that bank. And unfortunately, it just takes one incident to, drain that bank.
Davies believes she can and will earn that trust and hopes to bring stability to a police service that has had 3 chiefs in 2 years. She's relying on her years of work in the community, where she led the service's Truth and Reconciliation Committee.
I like to think that I've treated people with respect, with kindness, that I've been thoughtful in decision making, and that for the people that work here and the people in the community, that they respect that.
She says a key focus in the new year will be continuing to develop plans around officer wellness and retention, and creating the force's new 4-year strategic plan. Alexander Kwan, CBC News, Regina.
Mickey Wolf is back now. I kind of feel like, Mickey, we've just been waiting and waiting for the first really big snowstorm of the season, and seems like we're right ahead of it right now.
We are right ahead of it, Ethan. We've got a big system of snow coming in. It's actually an Alberta Clipper moving in from the west. Let's take a look at our skies right now. So it's not looking too snowy just yet, but again, that system coming in is actually bringing in some of that moisture from what they're experiencing in the Fraser Valley in BC. So that's why we're getting such heavy snowfall amounts along with those very windy conditions. So as you can see, tomorrow morning is when we're going to start to see both rain and snow mixed coming into the province from the west, especially close to Swift Current. We'll start to see that rain, and then for Kindersley, we're going to start seeing some snow. Now here's where things get heavy. Around 5 o'clock, right around the commuting hour, we're going to see heavier snowfall amounts coming in, especially Saskatoon, Yorkton. Yorkton especially will continue to see that snowfall into the evening. Then as we get closer to overnight, we're going to start to see that tapering off, but definitely in the southeastern corner of the province, you're going to see some reduced visibility Thursday morning, as well as some snowfall. Thursday looks relatively calm. We're going to have a mix of sun and cloud before Friday, again seeing some more moisture and snowfall coming into the province. Now, as for specific amounts, not too much starting in the morning hours, but then again, as we get into 6 p.m. From 9 to 6 p.m., this is the snowfall amounts we're looking at. Now, mind you, this is just one model, so potentially the amounts we're seeing in Saskatoon could be the amounts we're seeing in Regina, but regardless, we will see some very heavy snowfall by the evening time tomorrow, and then not much on Thursday, but then Friday happens, and then we're looking at amounts up to 48 centimeters total for Wynyard, 46 for Yorkton, potentially 44 for Saskatoon. Now in the north, we're going to see a bit more of a gradual snowfall. The Churchill region will see a little bit of that system coming through, but in more gradual amounts, just up to 11 centimeters. Gradual snowfall, that is. Now, looking at the winds, again, we've got that active wind warning tomorrow for the southwest corner. You can see that a bit, and then those winds will really pick up, especially for Regina and Moose Jaw as we get into the evening tomorrow. Now, taking a look at our visibility quickly here, folks, we're definitely looking at reduced visibility throughout the day for Kindersley, and then by midday, we're seeing Saskatoon and then into that southeastern corner. Now, for our 7-day forecast for Regina, our focus is, again, the blizzard tomorrow. We're going to see really big drop in temperatures throughout the day, and then that heavier snow. Things should clear up by the time we get into Saturday and Sunday, and similarly for Saskatoon, definitely colder, but that blizzard condition before we hopefully see clear skies, Ethan, by Saturday and Sunday. Not a great time for Christmas shopping tomorrow.
No, it sure won't be. And just like clockwork, the snow, then the cold. Okay, thank you, Mickey.
Thank you.
A horse facility in Saskatchewan is clamping down on biosecurity measures after a case of equine herpes virus was detected in Alberta. Helena Mahalik now with what people are doing to prevent the disease from spreading.
So we'll literally just spray it on any surface that the horses could have touched. So
Brianne Folks disinfects her stables with bleach multiple times a week, along with quarantining any horses that come from outside the province, all in an attempt to prevent the spread of EHV, otherwise known as equine herpes virus.
You need a new hairdo, my girl.
EHV has been present across North America for decades. It was detected in Red Deer, Alberta last month, but is more commonly found in the United States. While less common in Saskatchewan, 2 cases were detected in the province last spring.
We found that it was more serious, which it might get to that point. If there were more cases locally and stuff, we would consider closing down to travel altogether.
Experts say the disease is common in younger horses, especially those traveling for shows. If infected, they carry the virus forever. But if properly treated, horses can be cured in 2 weeks of symptoms such as fever, runny nose, and swollen lymph nodes. But testing is critical, because without it, there's no way to know if a horse has a more serious neurological subsect. Right now, there are 47 cases in the U.S.
There's things you can do, again, supportive care, anti-inflammatories. Sometimes, though, those animals do require euthanasia if the damage to their neurological system is so great that they aren't able to swallow or move around appropriately.
Smith says it's likely there are more cases of EHV going undetected.
It does depend on whether people are actually testing and submitting. Like I said, because typically we see this as a very mild respiratory illness, most people aren't running out to ask their vet to test for this. So there could very well be more than what we see today.
We're typically hosting something most weekends.
The biggest spread happens at international equine events. Vogt says she has horses from other provinces coming to her facility weekly. She's upped sanitizing and quarantine measures to be safe.
We just want to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to protect our horses and the horses that come in, so that if everybody else isn't quite as diligent as us, that our horses are still safe. He's a good boy. Hi, buddy.
Vogt hopes that as more awareness grows about EHV, that other equine breeders and facilities take the same precautions as she has to stop the disease from spreading any further. Helena Mahalik, CBC News, Saskatoon.
Well, it is a very hairy Christmas at London Zoo as some inhabitants swing into the holiday celebrations early. Curious capuchins wasted little time monkeying around as they rummaged through red stockings stuffed with their favorite snacks. But larger primates, like the resident gorillas, received bigger servings in sacks. Some of the apes may have found a way to upcycle the bags their holiday treats came in. The zoo is home to more than 8,000 animals. The Magic of Christmas event runs until January 4th. Stay with us. We have one last look at our snowy forecast after the break. Welcome back. A new prototype being developed out of Sask Polytech could make wild rice harvesting easier and cheaper for producers in this province. A 3-year research project at the school in Saskatoon has led to the creation of these new wild rice harvesters. Researchers have combined their technical knowledge with the expertise of Indigenous harvesters. The result, an innovative rice harvester boat that's easier to repair and maintain.
With our folks in the north, we met with them and had very good, genuine, productive discussions about what their problems were, what could we do to help them. We were not wild rice farmers, nor did we live in the remote regions that we're in, nor did we understand the remoteness of wild rice harvesting patches.
Most wild rice harvesting boats use old engines that are prone to failure and difficult to replace. Sask Polytech made its prototypes using industrial-grade components. The changes are expected to reduce operating costs and increase harvesting capacity. And Mickey is back now to tell us just how much snow and just how much wind we are really in for.
Well, Ethan, we're in for a spoiler alert, quite a bit of snow and quite a bit of wind tomorrow. I do want to take a look at our overnight temperatures tonight because things are looking relatively calm before the storm. Tomorrow, a bit warmer in the south tonight. We're looking at -3 for Cornack and Saskatoon, a little bit chillier. We've got lows of -17 tonight. Starting to see a little bit of that precipitation scattered throughout. Then in the north, cloudy skies tonight and a little bit of mixed flurries there in the Churchill region. As we get into tomorrow, things will look relatively normal and calm for the north by the afternoon hours. Things are looking relatively clear for folks up there. But then tomorrow in the south and central regions, we are starting to see again that rain in the southwest corner and definitely snow more towards Kindersley as we get into the midday. We'll start to see that snow spreading across much of the central region and the south with a little bit of rain potentially for Moose Jaw as well. So Ethan, it's a good day to bundle up if you're even going to go outside in south and central Saskatchewan because we will be seeing our first blizzard of December.
Yeah, we got the rain, the wind, eventually the cold temperatures. Seems like the whole buffet there.
Definitely a buffet, Ethan.
All right. Thank you, Mickey.
Thank you.
And that's our news for this Tuesday. For more news anytime, you can head to our website or our YouTube channel or download the CBC News app. Thanks so much for watching and stay safe in all this weather.